It is safer to stay home right now. We can save lives if we stay home. And I plan to do that with a lot of books. Hi there, I am Manpreet and I make book related videos on this channel every Wednesday and Saturday at 6 pm. If you like books, make sure you subscribe, follow me on my social media and turn your notifications on so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Today's video is sponsored by Storytel. A very good timing actually, because you must be wondering how are you supposed to get books when they are not being delivered by online shops and when you can't go outside. But don't worry, Storytel has a solution for you. It is an audiobook and ebook app through which you can stream books on your mobile phones. I personally love to listen to audiobooks when I'm taking care of mundane tasks at my home. For example, cleaning my home, taking my dog for a walk, or just giving rest to my eyes after a hectic day at work. It is especially a very good resource while we are all in quarantine. For consuming the worrisome news all the time can be deeply stressful. I have been discussing about how I am coping with the stress with ebooks and audiobooks all over on my Instagram, especially IGTV. Coming back to Storytel, they have a free 30 days trial and you can borrow as many books as you like in one price. There are several features like adjusting the listening speed, preset snooze, special night mode, bookmarking, notes, and personal recommendations that are worth checking out. I will leave a link down in the description for you to avail the free trial for Storytel. And now, without further ado, let me tell you what I plan to read while I stay home. This is basically my TBR and you guys love TBRs. So yes, let's get started with the one that is especially for this stressful time when we are all inside our homes and not by choice, but because we have to and we want to because that is the safe thing to do. So the number one book that I want to read is by an author that I feel like who is perfect for reading books at this time because her books are funny, they make you laugh, and the author is obviously Sophie Kinsella. Now the book I want to read this time is Surprise Me. It is about a couple that wants to spice up their marriage. They plan on adding some surprises to keep their marriage interesting, and then it just progresses into the classic Sophie Kinsella tale where you laugh, where things are so funny, you even cry a bit, and then you just enjoy the book very much. So I'm really excited to read Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella. The next one that I want to read is by an author who is known for cozy mysteries, and that is Agatha Christie. I want to read The Mysterious Affairs at Styles. This is the book one in the Poirot series. First of all, I would definitely recommend you to try out cozy mysteries in this quarantine time because they are enjoyable, they are fun to read, and they are just cozy. They make you feel good even when they are murder mysteries. I personally want to make my way through all of the Agatha Christie's works, and I have read like about 7-8 books by Agatha Christie, and I'm very excited to read The Mysterious Affairs at Styles. Number 3 is a trilogy, Harappa trilogy. It's a mythological fiction and it's a very popular one. I have had the books for ages, but I have always procrastinated reading them. I even tried once but lost touch. But this time, as I have just finished the Heroes of Olympus series, the review of which is linked down below in the description or up in the cards, I am really excited to pick up a series by an Indian author, and this seems to be very high on my list. Moreover, a funny thing, it's more like a funny fact, I have read a few pages of Harappa trilogy and the main character in that one is like half human, half god, and what are those people in Greek mythology? Demigods. So I have just finished reading a book series about demigods and now I am going to read a book series that features an Indian demigod. So yes, I am very excited to read Harappa trilogy by Vineet Bajpai during this quarantine self-isolation time. Number 4 book that I want to read is Those Pricey Thakur Girls by Anuja Chauhan. Now, I have recommended Anuja Chauhan to several people for this quarantine period. Her books have this airy and nice vibe that just makes you feel good. Those Pricey Thakur Girls is about this group of sisters living in Delhi and their life. I've actually read the sequel, The House That BJ Built, and loved it, and I have been meaning to read Those Pricey Thakur Girls for a long time, and now is the right time when I just want to have a laugh, read something relatable, and read something nice. Number 5 book that I want to read while I stay home is The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. See, here's the thing, I really want to use this quarantine time to mark off the books that have been on my reading list and that are normally on my reading list every year. More precisely, I would say the authors. I really plan to read Agatha Christie, Nicholas Sparks, Sophie Kinsella, Anuja Chauhan, all of these authors every year. And I'm sure when this lockdown period is over and we all get back to our same hectic schedules, I won't be able to get to these books. So yeah, coming back to Nicholas Sparks, he is on my yearly reading list, and last year I read 2 books by Nicholas Sparks. This year I plan to read at least one, and The Last Song is one of the most popular works of the author. It is about this 17-year-old girl who is sent back to her estranged father, and how she discovers life then onwards. Fun fact, this book was actually written to be the basis of a movie. And the movie is again called The Last Song, and it stars Miley Cyrus. And I'm sure if you are a Disney Channel fan, a 90s kid, you would have watched the movie. But yeah, this book was written as a basis for that. But Nicholas Sparks' writing is so magical, so feel good. So I really want to just, read this book. Number 6 book that I want to read while I stay home is the Famous 5 series, Book 2. Now, Famous 5 is actually written for like children, kids of age 8 to 10 or even 6 to 8, right? It's about a bunch of kids who find themselves in different adventures, and they also have a dog. And I really loved reading Famous 5 series when I was a kid. And last year, I guess, or maybe last year, I started rereading the series, even though it feels a bit kiddish because it's written for like strictly like 6 to 8 years olds, but I still enjoyed it. I still just like going back to those memories. I mean, I can revisit my childhood memories by reading these books. So I am really keen on attempting to do this, which is why Famous 5 Book 2 is on my reading list this time for this year, and it's also in this TBR. So I'm very excited about it. Number 7 on my list is The Lord of the Rings. Now, do you know that Lord of the Rings was actually supposed to be just one book, but it was so big that it was split into 3? Anyway, I also plan to read The Hobbit with it. Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien's work. It is considered one of the best fantasy works out there. But guys, it's also a challenge to get through these books. For me, I have always lost touch with this series after a few hundred pages. But I am going to attempt reading this again, and I will be vlogging all of it on my IGTV. So keep checking out my IGTV, Instagram at Indian Booktuber for all the daily reading vlogs. Anyway, if you do not know, Lord of the Rings series features this entirely different world called Middle Earth, where all of these creatures like dwarves, hobbitses, orcs, elves, magicians, wizards, all of these creatures exist, and there is a big plot about this dark stuff happening over there. It's an amazing fantasy series. If you're a fantasy fan, you have to try reading it and finish reading it at least once in your life. At least that's what I think for myself. So yes, that is why this is in my TBR. Number 8 is actually a Hindi novel called Gunahon Ka Devta by Dharamveer Bharti. I definitely want to read more Hindi books because the one that I read last year was my top favorite book of last year. If you know which book was that, please comment down below. Let's see how much you know me. Anyway, this one is actually a Hindi classic and I'm putting it on the top of my list. It is actually the most famous work of this author and is set in Allahabad, where this guy falls in love with his professor's daughter. So yeah, it's basically a love story and something I really want to read while I stay home. Anyway, we are coming down to our last book, which is again a Hindi book, and only book in this whole list I'm not very excited about, okay? It's called 21 Anmol Kahaniyan by Premchand. Listen, please do not hate me, but I started reading this and I have read about 4 to 5 stories and I'm not much into it. But see, this is the thing, I have always wanted to read Premchand's work. I mean, it was written a long time back, so maybe I am unable to connect with it on a deeper level because the book talks of things that might be very old and very outdated concepts. But I am still very keen to read this because it's Premchand. So yes, this was the last book on my list, and these were the top 9 books on my TBR this year. What about you? What are the top books you are planning to read while you stay home? Comment down below right now, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you liked watching this video, and do hit a thumbs up if you liked watching it. And yes, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it, and yes, thank you so much for watching. This is Manpreet signing off. I'll be back with another video very soon.